Hello, everybody, and welcome to Richmond Raceway. I do apologize about that. My OBS decided to start acting up right before we took the green, but we did not miss any of the action as I was able to get everything settled, all good to go. As we see already some really good racing out here on track. Just a couple minutes into this. We are still green flag racing. Currently, we do have Kurt Rottenberg out front. You know, just absolutely right now dominating this race. Again, everybody, I do apologize about that. Go ahead and start getting everything reset up here. As not only did my OBS kind of do something weird on me, but it seems like my overlay stuff and everything has gotten changed. As you see, Kurt Rittenberg getting a lot of pressure now from that number 6 and that driver of Griffin Deere and that John Deere Ford Mustang. We got a really good battle up front here now for our race lead. And Michael Perry and that number 22 Chevrolet, that he's directly behind them now as they are now rocketing down this back straightaway into turn number 3. So while we are under green flag conditions, let's really quick take a moment and we are going to take a look here at our race information. These guys are going to be running 150 laps total for 112 miles as we have a battle for your race lead as they dive here down into turn number 3 and 4. 2 sets of tires, and they will be running 67% fuel, and they can go about 67 to 75 laps on this set of fuel. So we have some really good strong. Looking forward to some really strong racing here tonight. As you see them now working lap number 11 down the back straightaway. Griffin Deere and that number 6 Ford Mustang is out front. Kurt Rittenberg, he's still sitting there right behind him. Mike Perry back in that number 3 spot. Behind them is Cameron Ardent in that beautiful Sprite number 3. Dave Dolliver in that number 23 Mountain Dew Chevrolet. Brandon Hare in that number 1 Pennzoil Chevrolet, followed by Mark Dilla in that number 2 Red Bull machine. Behind him, you got Bevan Benoit in that number 48 Goodwrench Chevrolet. Chase Page, he'll be in that number 34 machine for Twisted Tea. Jared Ogletree, second place. He is sitting down here in that 10th spot in the number 27 Ford Mustang. Douglas Scalise in that number 16 machine. Then you have Robert Day. You have Robert Day in that number 63 machine for Amazon Prime. And unfortunately, Mike Fudge and Damon Pashko are unable to make it out here today. As we catch back up here with your race leader. And now we're going to ride on board here with Kurt Rittenberg. Nice and easy does it for these drivers. No one's really pushing hard at the moment, you know, to try to make any sort of move. As we take a look here at the 00 St. Jude Hospital 00 machine, he is now getting a lot of pressure put on here by Mike Perry in that number 22 Chevrolet, as Perry gets a little bit sideways out of the corner this time by, as these guys continue to make a lot of headway into this race. Still coming around here to complete lap 20. That 22 of Mike Perry, he's definitely putting on a lot of pressure still to that 00 machine. I think he's trying to get into his head at this point. Let's go ahead and jump back here a little bit to Cameron Ardent and Dave Dolliver in that number 23, as this battle here for the 4th spot is starting to heat up, as we have a three-way battle here now between Ardent, Dolliver, and Hare, as these three drivers now exit out of turn number 4 back to the start-finish line, over back into turn number 1, as we see a battle here for second now. As we come back, and Mike Perry, he's going to take it away from Rittenberg as they head down here in turn 3. Rittenberg not giving up on that outside as they exit turn number 4, but Perry, he will clear him. And will Rittenberg try to take it back on the inside? No, he's not. He's just going to stay right behind Perry. And he's actually going to run that, I'm sorry, Rittenberg. Yeah, Perry. Oh, a hard hit there for Rittenberg into the outside wall. Dave Dolliver got onto the inside here of Ardent momentarily down the back straightaway. As we continue to watch this battle here for that 4th spot. Right now, everything has settled down. Rittenberg, he's still about 3 or 4 car lengths back from Perry, so we'll jump back to that battle there for a second when the time comes. As we see Dolliver still trying to get a nose on the inside of that number 3 machine. Just hasn't been able to make it happen just yet, but we're still pretty early on in this race, so anything can still happen as this race continues to go on. Side by side now here into turn number 1. Dolliver working hard as Ardent gets into the wall, and that's going to allow Dolliver to get a nose in front heading down here into turn number 3. And that number 1 machine of Brandon Hare, he's trying to go with him, but unable to get down there as these two continue to run side by side heading down here into turn number 1. Ardent very strong so far on that outside lane. And that's a really big difference between what Perry and Rittenberg was doing. Rittenberg was not able to stay to the outside of Perry until Rittenberg actually got into the wall on the exit of turn 2. But here comes Dolliver once again trying to make a run on the inside. Not going to happen this time, down in 1. These 3 drivers now single file heading down the backstretch into turn number 3. Ardent still holding strong, and Dolliver, he's playing that game of what line will be best for me to get around you, and as of right now, he's just trying to ride around at the moment. Dolliver has to be careful as he slipped up a little bit just enough that could have allowed that number 1 Brandon Hare to get down onto the inside of him, so he's got to be really careful with that. Really a good racing right here as we see that 23 still trying to make his way around That number 3 machine, he goes in deep, almost catches the back end, but he will lay back now just a little bit and allow him to gather himself up. Overlays back up and running here for you, as we see Ardent still trying to work around. Sorry, Dollarberg still trying to work his way around Ardent in that number 3 machine. Try to fix it. They're showing that hair is still in that number 18 machine on her pylon, but he is running a number 1 paint scheme. So when I say that one car, just know that I'm talking about Brandon Hare and that number 1 Pennzoil machine. Let's go ahead and just double check our paint schemes, make sure that they are coming out correctly, as we are showing some test cars now here, and it looks like we got a battle up here. Oh no, we have Page and that number 34 machine going a lap down. Griffin Deere, he is still out front in front of this number 22 of Gary. So he's been able to gain a little bit here on your race leader, and Kurt Rittenberg, he has fallen back to a little bit, to just about 2.5 seconds back here now from your race leaders. So that's definitely very unfortunate there for Rittenberg, as he was very strong early on in this race, as these drivers are coming to start lap number 39 here in just a moment. Right now, this is your battle for the race lead. And both of these drivers are doing a fantastic job at keeping it, nice and close here. As you see Perry now working the outside of Deere, and they will go side by side now, heading down into or out of turn number 2. Drag race down the back straightaway.
There you go, Brandon. Right.
As you hear that number 23 telling Brandon of Hare to go ahead and go around him, and we now have a new race leader.
You're good.
Mike Perry in that number 22 machine. When we get a caution, I will take care of that radio issue that you guys are hearing from the drivers. But everybody's nice and quiet on the radio at the moment, so not too much going on there, as you guys can hear. Brandon Hare, he's now going to try to work his way to get to the back of Ardent, as they are now working around that number 34 of Chance Page. And these drivers, they will get around him perfectly fine. guys have settled in out here back for that number 4 spot. Right now it's going to be Cameron Ardent. And back up here with your race leaders, Griffin Deere, he's still hanging on pretty strong, trying to get to the back bumper once again here of Perry, but not really able to make too much of it just yet as they dive now here into turn number 1 and 2 here once again. But Perry, he's slowly starting to pull away from Deere, and so that's going to probably start to change the whole entire dynamic of this race. And we're going to see possibly the first driver to be extremely dominant today, and that's possibly going to be Mike Perry in that number 22 machine. Coming back here to this battle, and it is now a battle between 4 drivers. We have Cameron Ardent now in that number 3 spot. Brandon Hare in 4th, and Dave Dollar in 5th, and that number 48 of David Benoit. As they are now attacking on the inside of that number 3 machine, Hare taking Ardent down the back straightaway. But Ardent is hanging strong outside of that number 3 Sprite Ford Mustang. Has that number 18, also 1 car Pennzoil of Brandon Hare, trying to make that Chevrolet get out in front of him, which he will complete this time by. And now it's going to be now up to Dave Dolliver and at number 23 to make his attack here on Cameron Ardent. But as of right now, Ardent is going to stay right there against that yellow line. And as long as these guys don't get a run out of any of these corners, they will be just fine. But now as we look behind them, Dave Dolliver is having a lot of pressure now put on him from Devin Benoit. So these guys are really starting to get everything going as we see our first driver to come down pit road. It's going to be that number 6 machine of Griffin Deere, as he will drive his machine down on the pit road as we hear everybody else now starting to make their way here down to pit road as well. So now Brandon Hare's down pit road, Cameron Ardent, Dave Dolliver, Devin Benoit. So just about lap 53, these drivers started making their way down pit road. So these guys are going to try to make it a 2 pit stop race. So that will bring them to just a little bit over the 100 lap mark before they come back down pit road for their final pit stop of the day. As see that number 22 machine, Mike Perry, come down pit road. I'm sorry, he's leaving pit road. Your race leader now is going to be that number 27 of Jared Ogletree. But we imagine that he's going to start making his way down pit road here momentarily. As you see Griffin Deere in that number 6 starting to make way to start on-lapping himself. As we currently have 4 drivers still awaiting to make their way down pit road for their first pit stop of the day. And that's going to be Jared Ogletree and Doug Scalise, Robert Day, and Mark Dilla in that number 2 machine. Turn around and get their laps back, and they're going to start to pull away now from your race leader on those fresh tires. So it's going to be very interesting to see how long your 4 race leaders are going to wait to come down pit road, as they're coming to start lap number 58. I believe with my calculations, these guys should be able to go between 67 to 75 laps. So it is a little bit early, if my calculations are correct, for those drivers to start coming down. But as going to be very interesting to see how long these guys are going to try to push it. Because if they can make it to at least lap 76, they very well could get all the way to the end. But that is still remains to be seen. As we take a look at the back of Kurt Rittenberg, as he is circling around out of turn number 2 back down this back straightaway. So really good driving here for Kurt Rittenberg. He's still waiting to get back on that lead lap. Right now there is just about a 3.5 second separation between himself and Griffin Deere. And from Griffin Deere to Mike Perry is just that little bit right there, as you guys see. Less than a half a second. Their race leaders come down pit road for their first pit stop. That should hand the race battle back over to Mike Perry and Griffin Deere. So these guys doing a phenomenal job here at Richmond, keeping everything nice and steady here with these 12 cars out on track. So far, nobody has been doing anything outrageous to try to make anything happen. As we jump back up here to our race leaders now, Doug Scalise, he is still trying to track down that number 27 of Ogletree. As you see Brandon Hare in that number 18 trying to get around that 16 car to get back to the back bumper of the race leader so he can start getting his lap back as well. So now that he's got second place out of his way, he can start refocusing on your current race leader, which is directly in front of him. As we ride on the back part of Brandon Harris' car here. You can take a look at the intensity in this driver's eyes as he circles around this racetrack. Now that number 3 machine now of Cameron Harden, he's looking to get his lap back on your race leader. Coming out of turn number 4, he'll get it done just fine. And here comes that number 16 of Doug Scalise as well. But this is going to be for the race lead now as he's trying to get on the inside of Ogletree for the race lead. Back it down into turn number 3 and 4. Scalise is doing everything he can to get to that back bumper of Ogletree, but just he's not able to completely pass on it just yet, as they have Dave Dolliver now coming up behind them to try to get his lap back as well, as these two drivers dive down here into turn number 3 and 4 once again. The 16 of Scalise goes way wide, and that will allow Ogletree to pull away a little bit here with that race lead. These tires are getting old, so that means these guys are starting to get a little bit tighter in the corner. So these guys are going to have to start backing up their corners just a little bit to allow the car to rotate mid-corner. As you see that number 23 now of Dollerbird starting to make his way back around second place. And now he's got his eyes set on your race leader to get his lap back. These guys are now trying to stay out as long as possible as they are working lap 70 now, coming to lap 71. So I think these guys are going to try to make it a one-stop race. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this is going to work for them.
Pit in.
Jared Ogletree has just now, so he's going to be pitting in this time. The 16 is also going to come in this time, so these guys will not make it to lap 75. So these guys will have to come back down pit road at least one last time. As Mike Dilla in that number 2 machine. He's going to go ahead and stay out on track here as well, as Mike Perry is trying to get around him here now for that race lead, which he will do. So Mark Dilla in that number 2 machine will fall back to that second spot. But now it's going to be a matter of time before he needs to come down pit road, as he has Griffin Deere now working on the inside of him here in turn number 3. So I think Dilla might be trying a two-stop strategy here, but he's going to have to make it at least two more laps, 3 more laps. And if he's not going to be able to do it, then he's going to have to make that second pit stop as well. So this can either make or break his race. So depending on how far he's willing to stretch it, that's going to decide what kind of a race he's going to do as they start lap 74 now. So like I said, maybe he's got to go just about 2 more laps to make it the rest of the way on 1 more pit stop. As you can see, your race leader is now starting to pull away here. Lap 75 now coming to it. He's got to go 2 more times around to make it to the end of, if he can stretch this all the way to lap 76, so if he can make it 1 more time around, he should be clear for the remainder of this race. So this is actually a very interesting call, as he is one of the cars that still need to come down pit road. The other one is going to be Chance Page in that number 34 machine, as he goes ahead and pulls high, allows that number 27 of Jared Ogletree to get by him now, as you see him dive down here into pit road. It doesn't look like he's slowing. He's still going to go for it. Dilla is still staying out now. And based off of 77 laps, he can make it the rest of the way if he were to pit now. Unlike a lot of these other drivers who will have to come in for at least 1 more pit stop.
34 pitting.
Chance Page has called it. He is going to be coming down pit road now in that twisted T number 34 Ford Mustang. So that will leave Mark Dilla in that number 2 machine. What a crazy ride right now for Mark Dilla, as he will now come down pit road to get 4 fresh tires on his machine and some fuel. As we go ahead and we go catch up now with our race leader. Actually, I just saw a very interesting battle. Let's try to find that battle, as we see that number 16 machine now working the inside of the 23. These guys got me lost. Well, let's go back one more. Yep, there he is. Dave Dolliver in that number 23 machine. I apologize about that. Wrong button. Let's go find out this battle up here. This is Robert Day in that number 63 machine. He's diving down into turn number 1 here. He's going to start making his way around that number 16 machine of Douglas. I knew I was going to screw this one up somehow, some way. Brandon Hare, that's who it is in that number 18 machine. Yeah, so Brandon Hare back in that 11th spot, trying to make his way back up. But let's go ahead and catch back up here now with second place of Griffin Deere, who's just about 2 seconds behind your race leader of Mike Perry. So these guys are doing a phenomenal job out here so far. And looking at our lap times, Mike Perry in that number 22, I think it's DXP Chevrolet. He's doing a really good job there, as you see that number 2 Dilla drive around Mike Perry to get his lap back. No, Dilla is 2 laps down. I apologize. So he'll get one of his. Yeah, he'll get one of his laps back, and now he's just gonna circle around and try to get one more. Now it's going to be very smart here for Dilla to start saving some tires, as we have a battle back here for that 3rd spot. Cameron Arden, Kurt Rittenberg, and Dolliver, that's the number 16 machine, who's a lap down. So we have a lap down car mixing it up here with your 3rd and 4th place drivers. And the more these drivers deal with that lap down car, the more that number 3 machine is going to be able to pull away from Rittenberg. So Rittenberg's going to have to either let the 16 car go, or he's going to have to quickly get around him. But I mean, obviously we're okay racing hard with lap down car drivers, but at the same time, you also still have your own personal race to run, and you don't want that number 3 car to get away from you, as these drivers now exit out of turn number 4 back to the start finish line. Lap 89 now, ladies and gentlemen. This race is quickly going by. Just about a 1 second now separation between 3rd and 4th place drivers. And there is a 8-second gap from Griffin Deere to Cameron Arden in that number 3 in that 3rd spot. So Mike Perry and Griffin Deere both had really good, strong runs there on that last, on the first set of pit stops, and nobody got a black flag. So everybody is looking absolutely phenomenal, not allowing any mistakes so far to happen down on pit road. But like I said, we still got one more pit stop to make, so it's all going to depend on how much, how long some of these drivers are willing to go. There is just that 1 second separation between 4th and 3rd. As we jump back up here with the 3 of Cameron Arden. Right now, he's currently fighting hard to keep.
You can take it here, Douglas.
There he goes. He's going to allow Doug to go around this time by. I was about to say that he's doing everything he can right now to keep that 16 behind him, but as you guys heard right there, he told him to go ahead and go by. There's no real battles really going on at the moment. Right now we do have Rick Wittenberg currently just about half a second behind. Oh, as you saw Arden get a big loose out of turn number 4 that time by. So that's why we're going to stick right here with these 2 drivers, Cameron Arden and Kurt Rittenberg. As we ride on board now with Arden, looking backwards at Rittenberg.
I'm pitting here, Kurt.
Oh, and that number 3 car, he's going to
Thank
go
you.
down pit road. So Cameron Ardent, he's going to come down for
David.
his final pit
David, I'm
stop.
pitting into.
And as you guys hear, these guys are starting to come down for their final pit stop. So you heard Cameron Ardent come down. Kurt Rittenberg in that 00 St. Jude Hospital Ford Mustang's coming down. Dave Dolliver in the number 23, he's down on pit road now. And with 50 laps to go, these guys should be able to make it the rest of the way. Now it's just going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen with Mark Dilla in that number 2 machine, as he's going to start circling around now to get his laps back. Devin Benoit in that number 48, he is making his way back down pit road. Coming here to take a look at some of these pit times. It looks like Cameron Ardent decided to go with only 2 tires that time. 15.3. Oh, there we go. Griffin Deere, he's down here on pit road now. What kind of calls these drivers are making. Devin Benoit, he is getting Ford fresh tires. Let's see who else is going to do it. As you see, that number 3 car now quickly passing that number 22. Griffin Deere, he's now got 4 fresh tires as well. So far, these drivers all have taken at least 4 tires, except for Cameron Ardent and that number 3, who has only taken 2. So we're gonna find out like what kind of difference that's going to make as we see Mike Airy come down pit road now for his stop, and that will turn the race lead over to Jared Ogletree once again in that number 27 machine. Mark Dilla now up into that 6th spot. But Cameron Ardent, though, in that number 3 machine, is only a second back behind him. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this is all going to play out. So right now it's Jared Ogletree in that number 27 machine. As you see that number 23 of Dave Dolliver getting his lap back. Robert Day, he is just about 5.5 seconds back behind Ogletree. And Scalise is only about a second behind him. So these guys are really starting to get some nail-biting issues going on here. And as you see that number 3 of Cameron Ardent, he is now starting to go ahead and start working on that back bumper of Mark Dilla. So this will turn it over to that number 3 of Ardent, as Ardent is the only one so far that came down pit road, took 2 fresh tires. So this is going to be very interesting to see now how the rest of this all plays out. Oh, you heard it right there, ladies and gentlemen. Ogletree, he is saving fuel. And I think that is actually something pretty cool to hear. So let's ride on board as he heads down here into turn number 1, and just hear him hit that clutch right there. And then instead of like full out getting on the throttle, he rolls into it. Right there, he's off the throttle again. And he is still putting down decent lap times. He's only running just about 1 second off of his pace. Ardent is currently about 3/4 of a second quicker at the moment. So if I had to take a wild guess as we continue to listen to this driver of Jared Ogletree play with that clutch, it's going to be very interesting to see what these drivers can do and see if they can make it the rest of the way. Now, Robert Day, he has gained about almost 2 seconds now on Ogletree, with Ogletree trying to save fuel. Let's ride on board now here with Robert Day to see if he's doing the same thing. No, as you hear that, Robert Day, he is still full throttling it. Let's go in here with Doug Scalise now. Let's see what he's doing. So it really only sounds like right now it's Jared Ogletree. He's trying to save as much fuel as he can, but he is being quickly gained in by Robert Day in that number 63 machine, as he is running just about, well, he's not running that much quicker than your race leader at the moment. Your race leader ran at 22.83 last time by, and Robert Day ran at 22.4. So these guys are not really putting down hot laps. And that last time by, Robert Day was just a 10th quicker than your race leader. We have just about 35 laps to go. Yeah, just about 35 laps to go this time. Yeah, this time by. So these laps are definitely getting very interesting, as we have a pass for third back here. The 16 of Douglas Scalise, he bounced off the wall on the exit of turn number 2, as Griffin Deere, he was able to take advantage of that mistake, get around him, and now they're trying to put that 48 there. Devin Benoit a lap down behind them as well. That's it, so that they can continue to look forward and try to chase down that number 63 of Robert Day. There's now just about a 3-second separation between Day and Ogletree. So this is going to start getting really interesting to see if Ogletree's plan is going to work out here. Because so far for Mark Dilla, who is only doing a 2-lap or one pit stop run tonight, it didn't really work out in his favor, as he's back there in that 9th spot. And I believe I just saw Doug Scalise now in that number 16. He's going to come down pit road for his second stop. So Griffin Deere in that number 6 machine, he already came down for his second stop. He did get 4 fresh tires, and he was able to jump over Mike Perry and Cameron Ardent. So they are 3rd, 4th, and 5th now. So that 2-tire stop for Cameron Ardent is not working out for him, as right now, Griffin Deere and Mike Perry were both able to get around him, and now they have their eyes set on Robert Day and Ogletree, who both did not come in until lap 70 and 71. So those guys definitely have, 30 lap fresher tires compared to the other 2 drivers. As you see here, Griffin Deere now right on that back bumper of that number 63 machine. Doug Scalise probably had a pit stop violation, as he's coming back down pit road. Not exactly sure what happened there, but we're now focused here on that number 6 machine and that 63 of Robert Day. Robert Day, he will go high and allow those cars to get, and they make contact here on the front straightaway, but everybody will keep it straight. Day will fall back, but here comes Mike Perry now in that number 22 machine. working on that outside lane, trying to make it work. Deere, he will go ahead and maintain that lead. Mike Perry had a fall back behind him. Now, I apologize, that was Deere on the outside. So Perry trying to make it work on the inside, not able to make it happen this time. But here he comes again, out of turn number 2. He will run right beside him now. Did not be able to make it, as it looks like that number 22 machine starting to get a little bit sideways out of turn 2. So that's something these drivers are going to now have to watch as they now approach that number 63 once again. I'm sorry, that number 16 of Doug Scalise, who did have to come back down pit road. I believe that was for spitting down on pit road, so he had to come do a drive-through. So he will rejoin right in front of these guys. That number 22, Mike Perry, is getting super sideways out of the corners as we now have 24 laps to go. Jared Ogletree, he's going to have to do everything he can to try to keep Mike Perry behind him. And right now, that number 16, Douglas Scalise, is an obstacle in the way of Mike Perry and Griffin Deere, as we now have 23 laps to go this time by. Ogletree has to do everything he can to keep that separation between himself and that lap car, but that's not going to happen as Ogletree got into the wall out of turn 2, and that's going to open up the door for Mike Perry and Griffin Deere to attack here on the front straightaway. As you see Mike Perry now taking over that race lead, he's still going to stay high, and that's going to open up the door for Griffin Deere to get on the inside of Ogletree, and this is going to be a pass for second. 3 wide heading down into turn number 3. The 34 wisely gets out of it, and now we have a battle here. Oh, this is for a lap down car. So they just went 3 wide with 2 lap down cars. That was Perry. And so he's going to go ahead and settle it down now here just a little bit. Allow that 16 of Douglas Scalise to drive away. And now he's going to have to wait and see what's going to happen to that number 6 of Griffin Deere. That 27th machine, he is still holding strong. Having old lap tires, about maybe about 30 lap old tires compared to everybody else. But he's still holding strong on to that 3rd spot. Not falling back too far behind. As you see, Brandon Hare in that number 18, he's trying now to get around the 2nd place of Griffin Deere to get his lap back. And as right now, Deere is making it hard as he will now look to the inside. Not able to make it stick down the back straightaway. So he's going to have to set up and redo it all over again, as we now have 18 laps to go this time by. And here comes Brandon Hare in that number 18-1 machine. He's finally got him cleared. Now he can set sights on your race leader. As you see that 6 car right back onto that back bumper of Hare as they dive down in turn 3 and out of 4. This has been a really good night for your race leader, Mike Perry. He started first, and then during those pit cycles, he fell back just a little bit, but able to come back shooting strong. Quickly take over that top spot once again after his 2nd stop. And he is looking very, very strong to come home first here at Richmond. As you see Brandon Hare now trying to get on the inside of your race leader. See, this right here just shows how much fresh tires really matter here at Richmond for these drivers. As of right now, really good racing. Mike Perry is out to just about a 1-second gap now on 2nd place here of Griffin Deere and that John Deere Ford Mustang. As they circle out of turn number 4, back down this straightaway here once again, 14 laps to go. 22 Chevrolet SS machine is doing absolutely phenomenal, keeping this race car planted in the corners on track, as he has 2 lap down cars racing
Brandon,
hard
you
in
can
front of
have
him. As you hear there, the number 16 there of Scalise told Brandon Hare that he can go ahead and have the spot, as that 16 bounces off the wall, and we have Robert Day in that number 63 coming down pit road for his second pit stop. That's going to possibly drop him back to probably just about that 9th spot. One lap at a time here for Mike Perry in that number 22 machine, as he gets the 2 to go signal from our amazing flagman Barney, as he will get the 2-hand salute as they cross under the start finish line. Nice and steady these drivers come through this racetrack. He doesn't really need to push too hard. You try to get around these lap down cars, as he has just about a 1.5 second lead over second place of Griffin Deere, who has a 5-second gap back to Jared Ogletree. So these guys doing a really good job. All they gotta do is just man their positions and think about the long run. As we are now closing in towards the back end of this championship, as you see here, Mike Perry now coming down here. Overall, this is going to possibly be a really good day here for Mike Perry in that number 22 machine. Let's go ahead. Let me take one more sneak peek here at our point standings. Here we go. Yeah, so with Perry, he's going to have a really good point stand in that number 22 machine. This is his second start of the season. So right now he only has 36 points. So this is going to catapult him pretty far up into the standings here, coming from that 17th spot up. So this is going to be a really good day points day for him. Jared Ogletree is going to have a good points day. And Griffin Deere, who was just 2
I didn't
points.
have to race that hard there, Douglas.
Who just
I was actually trying to get out of your way that time and split up probably.
I apologize about that, guys. Jared Ogletree and Griffin Deere, let's see. Yeah, Ogletree, he's back in that 8th spot. So Deere is going to definitely jump up in front of Jared Ogletree here in the points. And with Dakota Nichols not being here, I believe that's going to be enough points for Griffin Deere to possibly take over the points lead without Dakota Nichols here tonight. So, Nichols, Dakota, I know that you are on your way home. I do apologize deeply that you cannot be here with us, and we hope that you got home from work safely. So, and definitely hope to see you next week. But ladies and gentlemen, out of turn number 4 to the start finish line, 1 lap to go, presented by These Days Designs. That number 22 machine, Mike Perry, has 1 more corner to do. Nice and easy. Ladies and gentlemen, These Days Designs 150 winner right here at Richmond Raceway. It's going to be that number 22, Mike Perry. And coming home second, it's going to be Griffin Deere in that number 6 machine. Cameron Arden in that number 3 machine. He's going to come out of turn number 4, take home 3rd.
Why did you stop
Kurt
on track?
Rittenberg will come home 4th. Dave Dollarberg 5th.
Black.
Mark
And I
Dilla, he
just
just came
ended up
home
against the wall.
6th. Devin Benoit come
That's
home
crazy.
7th.
You still caught me.
Jared Ogletree will come home 8th. Robert Day 9th. And Brandon Hare will round out your top 10.
I don't think I've driven that hard in a long time. I just don't want to give it up.
As you guys hear final communications post-race here. Ladies and gentlemen, driver of that number 22 DXP Chevrolet, he's going to get a nose bump from Kurt Rittenberg in that 00 Ford Mustang. These guys did a phenomenal job here today. Let's go ahead and we're going to take a very quick commercial break. And when we come back, we will talk with our we will talk with our race winners. So just bear with us here for one moment, and we'll be back after the commercial break. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Richmond Raceway, where we just went caution free right here with the FNX Racing ARCA Series presented by Misfits Motorsports Online. So we want to thank them for putting on this show for us here today. We also want to give one more shout out to These Days Design for their sponsor of tonight's race for These Days Designs 150 right here at Richmond. So let's go ahead and see what we can do about getting some drivers up here for conversation. It looks like third place of Cameron Ardent is not. Yeah, he is not here in Discord. Let's go ahead and see if Griffin Deer is down there. No, he's taken off as well. And Mike Perry, let's go ahead and drag him down before he disappears. Hey, Mike Perry, this is Mike up in the booth. Hey, Mike, this is Mike up in the booth. Do you got a copy? I am doing absolutely phenomenal. Give me one moment here. All right, so you came out here and you rock and rolled here at Richmond. How did the race go for you overall? And did you think you would come out with such a strong finish? Yeah, absolutely. We had a Jared Ogletree. You know, he literally split this race in half. Did you think that it would work out for him, or did you even expect that those fresh tires would be able to catch him as quick as you guys did? Awesome. Yeah, and again, congratulations on your victory here tonight. Before I let you go, is there anybody that you'd like to give a shout out to?
Appreciate
you stepping on board. It's good times, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Congratulations once again on your race win, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was your race winner of Mike Perry. He started out third here tonight at Richmond, and he came back with your victory. I do apologize. Didn't realize that the audio for Discord was not working, but ultimately he said, he hasn't driven that hard in the last 40 laps in the race in a very long time. And when I asked about that strategy that Jared Ogletree was on, he said quite a few drivers were trying to do that. And so he was a little bit concerned, but with the tire drop off, it actually ended up benefiting the drivers that did not try to do a one stop for this race. So that's what you missed there. And yeah, what an incredible race here overall. Let's go ahead and take a look at your race results. Oh, give me one moment here. All right, your race results. Obviously, Mike Perry in that number 22 machine came home first. Griffin Deere in that number 6 machine came home second. Cameron Ardent in that number 3 machine came home third. Kurt Rittenberg in the 00 came home fourth. Dave Dolliber came home fifth. Mark Dilla came back fighting to get back into that sixth spot. Devin Ben Wall comes home seventh. Jared Ogletree, he didn't. His strategy did not work out very well as he fell back to that eighth spot. Robert Day, Brandon Hare will round out your top 10. And then rounding out your field is going to be Chance Page and Douglas Scallis. They will round out your field. And then both Damon Pacheco and Mike Fudge both having some sort of electrical issues on their race cars, unable to start the race today. Definitely very unfortunate there for those race drivers. Let's go ahead and pull up your schedule for the remaining part of this season. Let me go ahead and track it down here momentarily in my whole list of Discord stuff. Schedule. Alrighty, let's go ahead and take a look now at your race schedule. Next week, we will be going to Charlotte Motor Speedway, 8 p.m. Eastern for 100 laps. I still need to come back through here and update your race winners. And then after Charlotte, we will be going to Martinsville. Then heading over to December 4th, we're going to take a little bit of a week off for Thanksgiving. And then we're going to come back to finish out this season leading up to your holiday season with December 4th heading over to Sonoma, hitting up Atlanta Motor Speedway, which is also the Echo Park Speedway. And then rounding it out December 19th, it's going to be over at Texas Motor Speedway for the season finale. So we still got a lot of great racing going on. We have 5 more races left in the season, so definitely don't want to miss that with Misfits Motorsports Racing League. So definitely come on back, you guys. We still got a lot of really good racing. Again, congratulations once again go out to Mike Perry and that number 22 machine. What an incredible run for them. Thank you guys so much for joining me right here on the iCast Racing Network. Again, I am Mike Taylor. It was my pleasure to give you this exciting race today. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you guys next time right here on the iCast Racing Network, powered by iRacing. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, happy, wonderful time zones.
This has been a production of the iCast Racing Network powered by iRacing. Thank you for your continued support. Don't forget to like and subscribe for notifications for all of our live events right here on YouTube and Twitch. We would like to thank SDK Gaming for their production overlays that makes this event enjoyable. Until next time, happy time zones.